Apologies for what you're about to see. This is not organised in any way, shape or form, but I've had a bad day so far. I spilt toxic chemicals in my lap. Yes, I was wearing my lab coat and it soaked through. So quickly but safely finished what I was doing. Washed my lap, my trousers, as best I could. Then cycled home with damp trousers, but amazingly, it's like 21 degrees outside, 21 Celsius. So relatively warm for Wales in April. So it did dry relatively quickly. Got home as quick as I could to shower, only to find that they've replaced the boiler today, which is fine. They kind of let us know that they were going to do that, but we asked them to see if they could get the key from the agency, and they said they'd get back to us, and they never got back to us. So we forgot they were coming today. So all the stuff, there was loads of stuff in the way, so they've moved all our stuff. So we had to put it all back. And then obviously they replaced the boiler, which meant I had no hot water for my shower from having a chemical spill in my lap. Fortunately, we have showers downstairs by the pool, because we have a pool in this building. Not that the pool's operational at the moment, but the showers were. So I managed to go shower downstairs. It's just been a day. We're tidying up the flat because it's a bit of a mess. And my husband was cooking, and then he goes, "Where's the lamb mince?" I'd forgotten to get the lamb mince out yesterday after the discussion that we had when we decided what we were going to eat for dinner. So he's gone out to go buy lamb mince and a few things that we needed, like milk and what have you. And I'm trying to make my brain happy again because it's been a week. So I'm gonna cut some fabric out for my next project, and hopefully the creativity will make me feel better, even though it's not really being that creative, but it will make me feel better. So that's what you're about to see. It's a mess in here, accept it. I then spent an inordinate amount of time trying to lay the fabric flat, trying to lay the pattern flat, trying to smooth it, hand smooth it, and then I gave up and I was like, no, I need to iron that. Which I completely forgot to film. So here's a picture of a jumping spider we made friends with. Now I cut the bodice lining and the bodice outer in the exact same fabric, so I have no idea what I'm really doing here, but I'm assembling the bodice. I find this quite an easy pattern to make, but then I have made it a few times. On that note, I forgot to mention which pattern it was. It is Vogue V9182, and it comes with different bust cup sizes, so it's quite easy to adjust. I really like it. Now I did opt for French seams on those side seams of the skirt. Didn't bother obviously for the bodice because that is lined, and so that's what I'm doing here. I suppose you could call this my favourite pattern. I've actually made it twice before, both Disney renditions actually. The first one was my up dress, and that was very much I wanted to make button up so I could have like the buttons in different colours, and for some reason it was cheaper to buy like a big tub of buttons than just the 10 I needed. So I bought a big tub of buttons and thought, well, I've got all these now, I might as well make another button-up dress. And another contributing reason to that was when I made the up one, because of the directionality of the print and the fact that it came in two like cuts as opposed to a continuous cut. That's what you get for buying from Joanne, I suppose. I didn't get the full length. I wanted the full length version. There's two lengths, and I wanted the full length version, and I had to do it shorter by 2 inches, I think. So I thought, you know what, I'll do another one. I've got plenty of buttons, and I really liked it on me. I did like the style, so I'll order more fabric. I was definitely in the midst of my Disney wardrobe, and so I decided to do it with like a vintage Mickey fabric, and I ordered from Joanne again, and they only sent me 3 meters and cancelled the last meter, so I didn't have enough fabric again. In fact, I had to change it so much. I did the bodice, but I had to change the skirt to a 3/4 skirt as opposed to a full circle skirt. I did complain. I did say, you know, you should have contacted me if you could not fulfill this order. It's not really fair because now I don't have enough fabric to do the project that I wanted to do with it, and they did refund me for the entire order without requiring me to send the fabric back, so technically that dress was free, so small win. I haven't done this pattern as intended yet. I've always had to do modifications to be able to get it onto my fabric. This one I have been able to cut out fully. You know what, I've done a string of ordering way too much fabric recently. This time, bang on, perfect. So hopefully, I mean, too much is better than not enough, absolutely. This is actually going to be the closest to how the pattern envisioned it. The only difference, I suppose, is when you read a pattern, they'll say, oh, get this size button or something like that. The reason I'm making this is because my buttons aren't the right size. I've got 10 and there's 5 different colours, so I've got 2 of each colour. These were on matching outfits that me and my little sister wore, and then my 2 little sisters grew up, like the outfits went down one. So one set of these buttons are slightly more faded than the other because that outfit went through all 3 of us, whereas the other one only went through 2 of us. I was digging through my mum's button stash and found them. I was like, can I have them? And this dress came to mind. Finally make a proper version of it at the length that I wanted it at. And I landed on gingham because I thought that would give like the picnic vibe, and I landed on green. I was thinking lilac or mauve. My sisters and one of their partners bought me a green handbag for Christmas. I am trying to actively get more green in my wardrobe. I love the colour green. It was my wedding colours, and I think I look good in green. Oh, I don't actually have that many green clothing. I kind of landed on green because I found this nice springy green. It wasn't too dark. Didn't remind me of school uniforms. I've been putting this off, so I've sewn the skirt pretty much all together. One layer of the bodice I've sewn all together. The other one I've nearly sewn all together, just lacking the front 2 pieces, which need to be interfaced. I don't know why, but interfacing always, it's not that bad. It really isn't a big deal, but cutting out 2 like more pieces of whatever and fusing them together, it's just, oh, I didn't want to do it. Not to mention that I didn't want to buy more usable interfacing and didn't really have enough. So kind of, well, I had enough physically, just not in one piece. So I've sort of like patchworked it along the back here, which is fine because this is just a button stand. So it's not like it's going to be super structural. It is, but not like in the same way. That's everything ironed. I actually don't think it matters too much if your interfacing doesn't perfectly line up with your pattern piece. Oh, I haven't finished ironing. I thought I had. Put it back on. I need to iron some seams. Pressing ham. This helps with like curved seams. You can kind of curve around and press them open. I'm not a fan of ironing, but it does make a hell of a lot of difference. And then it's a case of attaching those 2 interfaced front bodice pieces to that piece that's lacking it, and then attaching the lining and outer bodice pieces along the neckline and the armholes. Trim seam allowances and clip those curves, and then I like to understitch by hand. The straps are then attached at the shoulders. I then finished the construction of the skirt, including that hem, attached it to the bodice before I did those finishing touches by hand. Sorry for the copious amounts of time lapse. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm not feeling 100% at the moment. But the dress is nearly finished. I just need to do buttonholes on it. Everything's hand sewn down on the inside and the hem is done even. I just did a rolled hem using the rolled foot. I've hand sewn it once before, and I've just done like a double hem on another one. But yeah, this one I was like, I'll just use my little rolled foot because that's so much quicker. So the whole point of this dress was to use these buttons that I used to have and my sister had on our clothes when we were very little. I think I was like 5. That's how old these buttons are. But the thing is, they're a little bit bigger. Not only the pattern suggests, but my buttonhole fit. Now I could do these buttonholes manually, how I have done them for years, because I've only recently, and I mean recently, like December, and we're only April now, worked out how to use the automated button foot on my machine, despite having it for years. So I could do it manually the way I used to with a satin stitch and all of that, but then they're quite large holes. Or what I could do is back button. I don't know if that's the term, that's what I'm calling it. Now what I mean by that is having a normal size button. So this is actually the size that's recommended. I bought this box of buttons, ignore the little ones in there, I've just tucked them in there. This box of buttons, when I did my up dress, because I wanted all the multicolours, this whole box cost me like $7. Whereas if I wanted to buy the 10 buttons individually in the different colours, would have cost me more. So I just decided to buy the box. And you can see I've started to whittle down. Obviously some colours are being used more than others, but there's 7 of each colour, which is weird, but that's the number that was in there. So I've never been able to do all the buttons in the same colour because this one needs 10. Now I do have 10 of these flower buttons. So my idea how to back button is similar to a cardigan that I've got, which is unfortunately black. So hopefully you'll see this. So this cardigan has these gorgeous little diamante buttons on the front. Now, these would be an absolute nightmare, particularly in something knitted, to post through a buttonhole. It will snag, you might lose the little diamantes. So the way this buttons up is there's actually a button on the back and you button from the back. So instead of posting it through that way, you overlay it and you button the back one. Which means I can do the same kind of thing here. So I'll have the flower button on the outside, the other button on the inside, and you'll button it from the inside. I've only got 7 each, so I can't have all the same on the inside. I could just do like the green and then the cream, but I've kind of, they don't fully colour match. Like that's obviously a lot different. This one is also different, but like looks more similar on camera. But yeah, I've kind of colour matched them and I'm gonna match them by colour for no other reason than I can. It's a case of 10 buttonholes and then I can line up the buttons where they need to and I'll be sewing them. I haven't quite worked it out. I think the holes are, yeah, the holes line up. So I could do this all in one sweep. Don't sew late at night when you're not feeling well and can't think things through. Unfortunately I haven't cut it, but I've done a buttonhole and I started doing this one, which I'll be able to stop. That's where I marked, you can just kind of see it down here. That's where I want the button edge to be. That's not where the button edge will be, because what will happen is when you put the button through, it will shift to where the holes are. So that means the flower will hang over like that, and I don't like that. And also check this, it is a little bit close to the edge. So I've got to unpick that buttonholes. Well, I barely started the second one, thank God. And I realised. But, so that one's going to be super quick to get rid of. But that one is not going to be quick. And I'm so annoyed with myself because that was really silly of me. Round 2 on those buttonholes, and this time no unpicking, thank goodness. Still under the weather, so this is all recorded. I sped it up a little bit, it's not full time lapse, and I'll try and show you what I'm doing here. So that pin is to stop the seam ripper going all the way through my stitches when I cut the buttonhole open. It's a little trick, I don't know where I picked it up from, but it's not something I came up with. And yeah, this is just me opening up my buttonholes with my seam ripper. So I do actually have the proper like buttonhole cut open tool, but because I don't have a cutting mat, I don't have anything to do it on. I attach both the front and back buttons like simultaneously, so in one stitch if you like, and I used this book binding tool to create some space so it would be easier to button it up ultimately. I also double over my cotton so I don't have to pass the cotton through so many times. you just watched was filmed on Easter Sunday, and we are now July. It's not that I absolutely love that dress. I've worn it actually so many times since then, and I love it on my body. I mean, it's the third time I've made it, so by now this probably is my favourite dress pattern, you could say. So I really do love it. But yeah, I just haven't, a lot of life's happened in the last couple of months, and I just haven't felt like sitting down and chatting to the camera and sharing my thoughts. But no, I love the dress. It is super cute, and it goes so well with my Bambi shoes. I know I didn't show them, but I've got these Bambi shoes from Irregular Choice that I really love, and I love wearing them with this dress. They're just not good for dog walks, and I was clearly on a dog walk when I did that reveal. It's so fun, and I love it so much. Absolutely, it's going to become a firm favourite of mine wearing it. Successful make. Would I change anything? It might be a tad on the big side now, but I think that works in my favour because I'm back buttoning it and not traditionally buttoning it. You have to get your hands on the inside, so a little bit extra wiggle room there helps get the dress on. Yeah, I really do love it. I don't really have any other thoughts than that. I'm just glad I finally got the dress I had in my mind when I first tried to make this pattern as the up dress, and then the second time I finally got the length I want and the full skirt. So that's a win, and it's cute. It's very picnicky vibes. I really should go on a picnic, I think, wearing that dress. If you enjoyed this video, join me again and hobby along with me. Bye! Look at that. What did I do there? I was dreaming through the construction of this last night. It wasn't helpful. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a bridge right out there and there's a motorbike being an idiot across it. But this box could...
Abby. Abby. Lily.